Hey, True Believers, Englentine here. Apologize for the voice. I've been really sick and I'm trying to mask it as much as possible here. So, Shuri, #1. Wow. First of all, love the cover. I think, wow, this is gonna be really good art. I want to. Oh shoot. Yeah, they did that. They have this cover that looks really good. That is actually a very striking cover. And then when you open the book, it looks like this. It is one of the worst bait and switches that Marvel tends to do, and they do it quite a bit. Sorry, but the art just does not hold up. And here you even have the image. You have the cover image. Just to remind you that what took you to the book is not actually in the book. Seriously, this looks America Chavez bad. This is Border Town bad. And what's really sad about this particular instance of poor art is that there's a decent story underneath it. And that is criminal. That is freaking criminal. Actually, it's one of the things when I did the video asking people, you know, take the identity politics out of it, and what do you still have a complaint about as far as Marvel's concerned? One of the biggest things that was said was Marvel's inconsistency. They do not match good writers with good artists. And generally, you might get a good story, but it's bad art, or you might get some good art, or it's a bad story. And this is a huge example of that. So the story is basically a, hey, isn't Shuri good? They're trying to build up the character, I guess, for, God, that looks awful. Look at that. Look at her in the bottom panel there. Sorry, I know I was talking about the story, but the art is so bad, it's distracting. It continuously distracts you from the story, and that's, God dang it, they had a possibility of a decent Shuri book. And yeah, I know, it's almost to the point of backlash because you hear about, oh, Shuri was cool in the movie, and therefore, wow, isn't she great, isn't she wonderful? To the point of like, yeah, I'm done hearing about Shuri. I am. But a decent story is a decent story. So anyway, the story goes that basically they want to build up Shuri, so they show some of the inventions that she's making, and they want to show how important she is to Wakanda and to the new. God dang it, look how bad that is. Seriously, the middle panel right there especially, and it definitely is like America Chavez, because the two little panels in the middle that have nothing to do with anything, just taking you out of the story. No matter how good it is, it's incredibly distracting. And that's part of Marvel's problem here. How can you actually get into a story if you're turning every page and going, holy crap, that art is bad? So anyway, because of her contributions, you know, obviously we got it in the movie, but we don't really know about that too much as far as the comics, and that's what this one is for. And it's not just building up Shuri, it's trying to talk about the world of Wakanda, you know, like just get the character into, Jesus Lord in heaven, look how bad that thing is. In the bottom, I'm telling you, that's the problem. I mean, the face, that's not even the same face we saw 2 pages ago. The art is incredibly distracting here. There's no need for any kind of story because you get crap art like this, and that's part of the problem here. I would say it's the problem. Because as soon as you get invested, as soon as you're like, oh wow, maybe I've got some care, some feeling towards the characters, some feeling towards the world they live in, you get art like this, and it just takes you right out of the story. Which once again, they even have a kind of a meeting of the minds when all the kings are away, the women gather, and they talk about blah blah yada yada, and they go over some of the events, and that's pretty good because they do go over some of the events that has happened to catch you up, and they ask Shuri to be the new Black Panther, and I thought that was pretty good. That is when I could pay attention to the story and not this crappy art. It's funny though when sometimes the art is not amazing yet it fits the story, and that's the case in Exorcisters. And once again, this is almost drawn like one of those slice-of-life comics that, I'm not a big fan of. They got to be something very special to to want to get you into a slice of life, and you barely see those. This is basically a couple of sisters who they investigate the paranormal, and this is a one-shot issue, which I kind of liked. It builds their world, which I was surprised. Holy crap, here's a book that actually takes time to do some world building. All the while, they're telling one whole story. So it sets you up for a series, but it actually tells one story. And in this case, it starts off at a wedding where, as soon as they say their I do's, the husband is sucked down into hell by a demon. And so the Exorcisters are brought forth to solve the problem, to get the husband back from the demon. And of course, it's yin and yang, so you have, basically it's the odd couple where you have the clean-cut one and then you have the wild drinking one. And you can tell she's wild because she is drinking in almost every scene. You know, hey, you can't be wild without alcohol. Yeah, sorry, my voice is way out of there. It's my low, sexy voice. Can't get enough of your love, baby. I can't sing in tune now because I can't hear myself. Anyway, yeah, so it's they really do make the just broad distinctions between the two sisters here to make sure that you understand that one is prim and proper, has her hair up, has the Chinese hair sticks and everything. Yeah. By the way, those aren't chopsticks. Do not pull them out of the hair and begin to eat with them. That is what they call a social faux pas in China, and that will get you slapped. So anyway, I'm just kidding. I've never done that. Or anyway, yeah, but another thing about this book that kind of surprised me was its sense of humor. I was very surprised that the fact that, one, it's there, two, it works, and it definitely works for the characters. Excuse me. So I enjoyed that, and when I'm reading this book, when I'm reading this book, it occurred to me, this is like Asian Archie goes to hell. That's how I felt about it. Like modern day Archie, where they try to put a story with it, where they're rather than just like the comedy clips that the old cartoons or comic books used to be. And that kind of worked for me. I'm enjoying this book. I am surprised that something called the Exorcisters, coming from Image Comics, I haven't been the most faithful in Image, or had the most faith in Image Comics recently, but I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this, and how much I enjoyed the humor, and how much I enjoyed the story, because usually something happens where it's like, okay, yeah, we don't need that, and there was no take you out of the story politics, identity politics or otherwise, that you usually get in independent comic books these days, where they pull you aside and say, we interrupt this good story to tell you Trump sucks and you're a racist. None of that. None of that. It's just pure entertainment. It's comic book for comic book's sake, and it's one of the few that I've read so far this week that I can absolutely recommend without going, yeah, but, no, this is an entertaining book. This is an imaginative book. This takes you to places. So, yeah, well, okay, it takes you to hell, but it's in a good way. You know, not those other things where they take you to hell in the bad way. This one's fun. I was about to say this is the monkey bone of... No, but that one... Oh, yeah, that one wasn't very good. Anyway, but point being is this is definitely a book to check out. That is, if you're okay with not the superhero set. If you like to read comic books beyond just the superheroes, this one's going to be a fun book for you. The art, you see it as it's passing by, so hopefully you can make a judgment call on that. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the humor that it had around it. I enjoyed the action scenes, everything. I just had fun. And sometimes that's enough for me. And actually, a lot of times it's enough for me. If you can just do a comic book where I'm like, yeah, that was fun, then I'm good. Yeah. And the Exorcisters, excuse me, that did it for me. But that's just my opinion. What is yours? Not about the voice. I understand. I'm under the weather. I'm sick as a dog. But, you know, I tried to be a trooper and record at least something today. Anyway, did you buy Shuri? What did you think? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What about the Exorcisters? The Exorcisters. I'm so used to saying the Exorcist that I stop right there. What about the Exorcisters? Did you read that one? Let me know. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to click like, share, because that gets word out about the channel. And also, don't forget to hit subscription and notification if you haven't. Cool things happen around these parts. Hate for you to miss it. Also, this is the way I'm trying to make a living. So if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Patreon, drop $1 in the till. Help us keep making videos for you. Thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.